Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways eating up the night. Marconi plays the mamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Welcome to the City Show here on Live 365. I'm Pat O'Melia. It has been quite a while since I've been behind this microphone. But before I start, don't forget, tell your friends, download the Live 365 app. This way you can listen to all the programming we have on here. You got me, you got Johnny Highness with Live Hudson County View Live. We got other shows. For that matter, we're kicking on. It's very tough getting this radio show going. I'm telling you. Best station going. No matter what happens, I got a sickness, illness, whatever the hell it is. It's been a problem. And that's what just happened recently. On, well, like I said, tell your friends, download the Live 365 app. There's a lot of programming on there. There's a lot of stuff to listen to, and it's all free. So download it. Let me set my friend off. Alexa, stop. On June the 11th this year, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm fine. I get up, go to the bathroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking at some calls we're going to make, read a couple of news stories, blah, 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 blah. 6 o'clock in the morning on June the 11th, I'm in shock, sepsis shock, they call it. I have an infection exploding on my right leg, which I didn't know I had. For the longest time, for probably at least a year, I thought I had a strained right calf. But I had the left knee replaced. The right knee had to be has to be replaced yet. Wound up with sciatica. Well, actually, I'm going to see a back and pain specialist this week to find out, is it actually sciatica? Let me find out how we could treat this, because that's becoming more of a problem than the knee. But for the longest time, I thought I had a strained calf. So I'd massage it. Actually, got one of those massaging machines that I would massage it, and it would feel fine. So this went on probably like a year. Then on June 11th, what I thought was a strained calf muscle was an infection that blew up, and I mean blew up. By the time the ambulance got me, by the time I got to the emergency room, I should say, my entire right leg is red. So I'm shaking like a leaf. I can't move the leg, and now the leg's turning red, so I don't know what the hell's going on. But the EMT guy was like, that's cellulitis. I said, how long do you have this? It's about 15 minutes now. Well, over to the hospital I go. In the hospital, I spent like 7 days in there trying to clear up this infection, which we're still working on today, clearing up this infection. Every day in the hospital was another thing, another hammer dropped on my head. And also I want to thank RWJ Barnabas, did a great job. The nurses there did a great job. For that matter, I'm going to drop some pizza off to the nurses. Every day it was another thing. It was a cellulitis. Then we found blood clots in the leg that I just had the knee done. And they told me, well, it's probably a long-term clot. It probably won't move. So they put me on the blood thinners, which I don't want to be on. I was on the blood thinners before when we had the stent put in, and I had a lot of reactions to that. But the blood clot won't move. Hey, guess what? It split and moved. It's split, and half of it moved to my lung, but it's okay because it's very small. Then they found there was a spot on my lung, which was that. Don't be too concerned. We got bacteria in my blood. It was every day when the doctors came in. There was another hammer they were dropping on me here. There were other problems. Defib. Since I got the stent, I've been seeing cardiologists quite a bit. Never heard anything about defibrillation. Then I was saying about defibrillation. I'm saying, come on, guys. I didn't have that. But every day, they came in with something else. So I'm monitoring this. I had pneumonia. That was the fluid in my lungs. Every day it was something different. And the reason I was off the line, by the way, if you hear a very long commercial break because I'm coughing up a lung, that has been one of the biggest problems I have. I can't stop coughing. And that's, offshoot of having the pneumonia. And I mean, it's some violent freaking coughing, too. So if boy, that commercial break seems pretty long. You played that same one 3 times. Yeah, that's probably coughing up a lung over here. It was an incredible week in the hospital. So now we're seeing everybody. Today, I just seen a vasculist guy. Friday, they did ultrasounds on my legs to make sure the blood is pumping well. For some reason, my lower legs are now retaining water, so they were on water pills. The test positive. You know, the veins and arteries are pumping great. For that matter, my heart tested well. You know, it was it's been a hell of a month. But every time I wanted to do the show, the more I told you, if I start talking, we go out to dinner or something, or order pizza, or go to the Beachcomber or Gino's or something like that, and I start talking, then for the rest of the night, I'll be hacking up a lung. So far, it's so good. So I got a big coffee, my ever-present coffee, to keep my throat nice and smooth. But I've been seeing all the doctors. Hopefully, I really have a problem walking, it's sciatica or whatever it is. I really don't think it's a back issue. I think it is what everybody's saying, it's sciatica, but we need to get that diagnosed so we know exactly what I'm dealing with here. I'm having a very hard time walking, but I was having a hard time walking before with the right knee, and the right knee is really bad now. It needs to get done. But again, we won't do that because we got a detection in 2 legs now. And health-wise, I think I'm doing okay. So hopefully I can start get back in the groove of doing my show. We're on hiatus studio-wise. So we're thinking of new things to do with the City Show. We're going to come back with some sort of a City Show podcast, radio, TV combined, and I'll have a separate radio. I would like next week to start taking phone calls on the show. We do have an 800 line. It's a little difficult when you're doing it solo by yourself, but I don't see any assistance coming in anytime soon to screen the call. So we'll take a shot at me doing it myself here maybe next week. Mike and I will start working on that during the week. We're working on new shows, working on new openings for Johnny Highness's show, for Fernando's show, all together with the City Show podcast. I'm going to do more interviews. I haven't done a lot of interviews lately, and I was the guy that did tons of interviews. So we're working on all that. Hopefully when we come back in September, I'm in good health. I can actually walk would be nice. I'll know about it Thursday. Yeah, I pulled some strings again. Thank you, RWJ Barnabas. Yeah, we've been doing Hudson Health for years, so I got to know all these doctors. So I needed to get an appointment. Man, I tell you what, hard to get appointments with doctors. My God. Yeah, good thing I do know a few people. I needed to see this guy, a specialist in it. A little friend here, a little friend there. Boom. Going to see him Thursday. So hopefully, by the time we come back from my hiatus, I'm okay. I want to get the studio program going. I think I got everything set for the kids now. I just want to get a little bit more new equipment. So I got my both hands out, begging for money. But I'm just not as effective as I usually am because I'm stuck here being sick. They won't let you go out with the infections. You can't walk a lot because the lower legs start to get very tired from the infection. And you go to the doctor, they lance them on you. They start breathing them. It's kind of like medieval medicine, but that's how they treat these things. All right, listen, let's break for commercial. You're listening to The City Show with a Pat O'Meara here that still has his voice right now. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage, half space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships, or if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started the GoFundMe, where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids and the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
All right, we're back. Pat O'Melia here live on Live 365. Nice night. I'm actually in the garage today because I'm doing this show solo. I'm not in the studio. For that matter, I probably won't be in the studio this week. My calendar of doctor visits. Yeah, it looks like I work at a hospital. So many doctor visits. But again, unfortunately, we're in hiatus. But before that, I would say thank you to RWJ. I want to thank my wife, who's been a rock through this last month or so. She has been everywhere, done everything, and put my shoes on, changed bandages, made sure I got to the doctor's appointments, make sure I'm eating right. You name it, she has done it. So hopes to have a good woman, a good wife. But I'm coming up on my anniversary on the 28th. 48 years we've been together. That is a very long time. All right, let's get to what everybody's talking about. I've been trying to jump in on this for the last 3 weeks, but unfortunately, as soon as I started talking, I started coughing. For that matter, I took a nice long break right there. Had a little bit of gum, soothed my throat, had some coffee. We're looking at they just introduced the budget, and it runs with a 15.5% tax increase on top of, what is the Board of Education? I think it's 17%, and I think the county is 14.5%. That is like the perfect storm of tax increases. And everybody's just trying to justify especially municipally. There isn't a lot of outcry yet with the Board of Education, which I'll get to in my notes. My notes are all over the place here because I've been adding notes, hoping to do the show, then wind up not doing a show. So I got to dance around here, but hopefully I can make some sense between the city and the Board of Ed. There's got to be some changes there. It looks like we're not going to be able to dodge a 15.5% municipal tax, and that is, it'll be very difficult. We joke around before I got sick about affordability, Jersey City affordability. There is no effing affordability if the city itself is not affordable, because everything works off your tax bills. The restaurants you go to, if the owner jacks up the rent, the pass alone at 15.5%, that dinner goes up 15.5% or more. Rents are going to go up. Maybe not the rent stabilized units, but eventually that has to go up. It's not fair to the property owners. You're going to tell the property owner who's under rent control, you can't pass along this 15.5% tax increase. That's absolutely wrong. You could bankrupt that property owner. And again, everybody keeps talking about it. That's a big thing. That's one of the things. I don't know if we get into this show about making developers pay their fair share. I know a few of the developers. I've been doing this for over 30 years now, I think, in Jersey City, between the old radio show and the television shows and all. A lot of these developers, they made money in Jersey City, but they have spread out money in Jersey City. That's something we want to get into in the future. Who's the greedy developer? It's in America. It is a capitalistic society. They're supposed to make money, but they also create a completely different city, a whole renaissance. I've said this before. Two names that live on in Jersey City is Frank Hague and the LaFracs. The LaFracs changed the direction of Jersey City. They've created more jobs, increased more property values, developed in Jersey City when nobody else wanted to back in the 70s. They were the guy, Sam LaFrac. He rests his soul now. Driving around Jersey City in a beat-up van, looking at saying, I bet people would like to look at that New York skyline. And boom, we had those two big buildings, and you got the Newport Mall. These guys, Joe Panapinto is another one, who's been developing in Jersey City on Journal Square for a long time when everybody else was running the other way. These guys, have they made money in Jersey City? Sure. Have they developed Jersey City? Yep. Have they created jobs in Jersey City? Yep. Have they increased the wealth of Jersey City? Yep. So there's good and bad developers. I'm sure there's quite a few bad developers. But, the good guys, like I said, the Hartsbound's another one. Another good developer who's created tons of jobs all over New Jersey, really. The Panapintos, the LaFracs, it's just, some are escaping me right now. But I'm not supposed to show there's bad one. But a lot of these people who own property are mom and pop. They're a young couple. They're that senior couple. And, their main source of income is that house with the 3 or 4 apartments, maybe 6 apartments. And they're the ones that are going to get hurt if we can't pass along these tax increases. And I think Yvonne Belser just wrote an op-ed on it. And Yvonne's right. But I should talk to Yvonne about doing a show. We're going to gun show on the radio station, Tom's River Armory, with Chris and Pat there. For that matter, they're working on my car right now. If I'm in Seaside Heights, I got Chris and Pat at CNC. They work on my cars. I'm in Jersey City. I got Juan up there on Patterson Plank Road. My little Chevy Evo. It never leaves Jersey City, the little blue one. It needed some work. Then we had to do some subframe. But getting back to what we're talking about here. 15.5 is a ridiculous amount of money. When at the 15.5, which may or not be predicated, we really handle this bad. Mayor Solomon, he's come into a tough time. He walked in with one of the Ice Age snowstorms, and the city did. I thought Jersey City did a pretty good job, and even though the director of the DPW kind of thrown under the bus there, and I didn't think that was right. I thought Jersey City did just as well of a job of North Bergen or Union City, where you got Jack Shore in North Bergen, who is probably the preeminent snow guy in Hudson County. All those hills in North Bergen. I spoke about John Shore and his crew for many, many years, and Brian Stack. And Brian Stack loves a good snowstorm. Yeah, Brian Stack loves being out with those backhoe units and all. I know Jersey City did just as well as those two other main snow cities. But we lost Greg. He's still with OEM, but he's not with DPW anymore. And we hired all these people. And that's another thing. We're hiring tons of people here at heavy salaries. But I think John Highness, you go to Hudson County View Live, I think John's got a story about some of the deputy mayors. We got like deputy mayors to the Board of Education, deputy mayors to DPW, and a lot of these deputy mayors are carrying $200,000 salaries. We just effing laid off 31 people. Do I need all these deputy mayors? Probably not. In all the years I've been dealing with City Hall here, going back to Fred Schindler's days, I've never met with a deputy mayor. We've had them. They were there. I never met. There were some $1 a year ones. They were there. I never met with them, but I paid my dues. I got to meet with the mayors. I know somewhere along the line I got to meet with Mayor Solomon over the Lowe's Theater and some other issues here in Jersey City. Guess what I'm telling you right now? I ain't meeting with no deputy mayor. I've earned my position. If I'm going to go to City Hall, if I'm going to talk politics, or I'm going to go about something with the government here, I'm talking to the mayor. 30 years of doing this, I've earned that right. I think Mayor Solomon, it's just looking at it with 2020 hindsight, his handle is terrible. I don't know if he tried to deceive the city council on this deal with the Department of Community Affairs. From what I understand, the money we're getting on the loan, it's a low-interest loan, too. It's overspent. I think it's spread over 10 years. And you want to pay your vendors. I don't assume we have some heavy money vendors that we owe $1 million plus to. Because one of the things I never heard during full-ups days is vendors not getting paid outside of the normal incompetence of processing bills, and that's almost in any government operation. I never heard anybody saying the city's not paying the bill. They don't pay. They take a while to pay the bills. That is probable. Most of your government organizations are like that. But you see even some of that starting to change now with some of the governments. They're modernizing. But that wasn't the case of us not having money. That was usually a case of incompetence. If we owe $100 million plus to vendors, I'm going to assume they're pretty heavy vendors there. That must be like a Blue Cross Blue Shield, because who can handle $1 million in debt? So there must have been some heavy law firms, that sort of thing, that could deal with that. Getting a $105 million low interest loan over 10 years, you can pay your vendors. You want to pay your bills. I'm a professional bill payer. One of the first things I do when I get money in the studio is I pay bills. And it's probably the city is the same way. I would hope the city is the same way. You can get a low interest loan like that, like 2%, something like what I think it was 2.225%. Take it. Hey, if you miss a payment, what's the state of New Jersey going to do to you? You're the city of Jersey City. The money's tight that month, state's not getting paid. I would take it. But I'm not crazy about the 15.5%. Originally it was 20%. And they got it down to 15.5%. Not like that was like a big bargain there either. Instead of the 20, only got about 15.5. No, that is a devastating amount. And again, on top of the others, the county and the Board of Ed, you're going to open up a tax bill, and you are going to be astonished. And most people don't read that bill thinking, it's three separate entities. They point right to Jersey City. I remember Glenn Cunningham was saying that. They point to me. That is going to be a shocker. And a lot of people in Jersey City aren't aware of this. We don't have major press anymore. There's a couple of things Jersey City doesn't have. We don't have good mass transit. Ours sucks. Transit, we used to have buses. We don't have buses anymore. Every main street in Jersey City used to have a bus. Not anymore. And we used to have newspapers. We used to have, every day you're able to get the Jersey Journal, the Hudson Dispatch. We don't have that anymore. So a lot of people aren't aware of just how bad, unless you're on Twitter and if you're following Jersey City, and most people don't. I could tell you when we have some sort of a weather issue where we're not going to pick up garbage that night because it's going to be too windy or whatever the case is, or we're going to suspend street sweeping on Tuesday, Thursday, whatever. You find out how many people follow the city because they're moving their cars for the sweeper, even though the city is sending out a text saying that we're not sweeping today. A lot of people are not aware of this tax bill coming. They're certainly not aware of the county and Board of Ed and municipal all at once. So there's going to be a sticker shock. And it just had a council meeting where over 100 speakers signed up. I think there were about 60 when all said and done. You're going to see the pitchforks. You're going to see a very angry Jersey City when they get this bill, because this is devastating. And I tell you, there's going to be repercussions. I think there's going to be repercussions politically. I don't recall any municipality ever jacking it that high, at least not in Hudson County that I recall. I don't know where you go politically. And some of these guys, one thing, I tell you, don't join anybody else's press release. Do your own. Jake, I'm talking to Jake, I'm talking to Brooks. Do your own press release. Sink or swim on your own. If you're going to make a mistake, make it on your own. Don't go with somebody else's. These two and Elaine Little sent out a press release where they were going to vote for the 20%. That is going to hang around your neck for the next 4 years until you run for re-election. And during that re-election, every day you're going to hear about that 20%. And then you're going to hear about the 15.5% vote. And those things are just going to hang around. And everybody who's had a problem, who's having a problem, and what will be, I guess, 3 years now from now with the next election, they're going to remember that. So you guys better do a really damn good job for get reelected after this historic tax increase. Same thing with Solomon. James isn't looking good right now. Now, you got like 3+ years to recuperate from this. I don't know how you do it, but because we're not going to solve all the evils of Jersey City in this 1 year if we are truly $255 million in the hole. Now, Fulop is saying those numbers are fugazi. The numbers didn't seem to come back and bite Steve Fulop on the butt, and he was there 12 years. It didn't seem to have a problem at the end paying the bill, so I'm not saying Solomon is wrong. I just don't know how legitimate the 255 is. But right now, nobody at Grove Street is looking good. And when you start looking at how much money we've been spending, when we knew we had a budget problem, I said this before the election. Whoever was going to be the mayor was going to go into City Hall. They're going to open the desk drawer, the mayor's desk drawer, and demons are going to jump out of there. And damn, didn't know demons did. So demons jump out of there. Yeah, demons did. I'm not sure we worked the problem well. I was texting with Mayor Solomon. He made some cuts. I think public safety made a $5 million cut. But, their budget is so huge, $5 million, it's a suitcase off the Titanic, So after they made these cuts, some department $100,000 here, another department $200,000 there. After those cuts were made, I texted Solomon. I said, all right, now cut everything 10%. Out of your $886 million budget, cut everything 10%. One of the greatest businessmen of our lifetime, a guy named Lee Iacocca, guy that designed the Mustang and the minivan, who saved Chrysler. And he did. He saved Chrysler. He renovated the Statue of Liberty. He once said, I can cut any budget 10%. Now, as a person who's been forced to have his budget cut by about 70% in the studio since the pandemic, you got to make some draconian decisions there. My studio is a shell of what it was prior to the pandemic, but we're still functioning, and hopefully, now I'm really concentrating on teaching. We didn't do it because I was so sick last year between stents and knees and loss of blood. I wasn't 100% in what I wanted to do teaching. I intend to change that in this year. Like I said, we got our van is pretty much ready. Just got to put the equipment in it. We got the equipment. Get that settled up. That we want to immediately set up that if we're going out on a shoot, boom, we got our cart and we got our tables ready to roll it right out there, roll it right into the van, and off we go. We'll set it up with the students. For that matter, I think we're going to be working with some of the Hudson County Community College kids this year. And there's a program with SNAP. This starts, I think it's September. You have to do 80 years of volunteer or schooling or a job to receive your SNAP benefits if you're a single person. There's a bunch of conditions to it. We can help. One of the problems was Craig Guy is working on it. You have to sign up for a volunteer or a school, education, or a job. Then the community Hudson County School of Technology did away with all the VOTEC programs, which the young adults would have signed up to continue their SNAP benefits. So the studio may step in and see if we can help some kids, young adults, who they want to learn a trade. Listen, you give me a year or two in the studio, and you will be a studio production person. You will learn video switching, camera work, lights, audio, green screen, editing, all of that, set creation. You will learn all of that. Just give me a couple of years. Like everybody who works in my studio. You do 3 years, you got to move on. But every kid that's worked in my studio has moved on. You give me those 3 years, and you will do well. The same thing I intend to do with our students. There's juniors and seniors. I really like to get that third year somehow. Some of these kids cheated. I got some sophomores in there, but I respect that. But getting back to the city, yeah, you could cut 10%. Before we go, I'm not sure I'm really against the loan. What I'm against is the 15.5%. And hopefully when we start the new and improved City Show podcast, where we'll do live interviews remotely, we have the technology now. We just want to streamline it a little bit better than we have it, and we'll do it live. It'll be sort of a part of the video and the radio. Somehow we need to stay away from 15.5%. And I know, like Lee Iacocca said, I could cut 15% out of there. But I think when you look about how we go back and revisit this, next council meeting, they'll pass the budget. We're going to look back and realize we didn't handle this well. The city didn't come out looking well with the increases here with the 15.5. Like I said, I'm not sure if the council got all the information from Solomon. And one of the things Solomon is doing, he's delegating a lot to these deputy mayors. I'm doing the air quotes there. Probably want to get rid of some deputy mayors. These some things Solomon got to be like a King Solomon kind of deal. You know what I mean? You got to make these decisions yourself. Now, when I eventually sit down with Mayor Solomon over the Lowe's there, I'm going to look at him and say, you have to make these decisions, not this guy or this woman here, this deputy mayor, you. So I'm not sure I need a bunch of, like I said, John, go to John's site. I think it was John that had the story about these deputy mayors and how much money they're making. Yeah, we put a lot of money on there. And now we're looking at 31 employees that are going to get laid off. Hopefully we could save them. Maybe you can't, I don't know. If you only cut in 10%, you could probably save these people. The department heads, I don't think they were ever pushed to make some changes, but we need to make some changes. And like I said, once these tax bills go out, you're going to have some very upset people. There's some of the ideas they come out with, how we're going to make money is you turn Jersey City into a gotcha city. We got to change the finances of Jersey City, increase revenue. Yeah, but on whose back are we doing this, man? They're talking about parking enforcement. Oh, we're going to write a lot of tickets. You so much as park too far from that curb, we're going to give you a ticket. Don't park too close to that fire hydrant. Ticket. You're in the bike lane. Ticket. But I mean, it's talking about cameras to do this. Parking enforcement cameras, speed cameras, red light cameras. We're going to turn into a gotcha city where every misstep you take, oh, gotcha. Here's a ticket for you. There you go. That we don't want to become either. You want fair enforcement. Years ago under Glenn Cunningham, I did the PR with the Jersey City Parking Authority. I would go to the meetings on behalf of the city back in the early 2000s. Everybody wanted more enforcement. First of all, they would attack me for 15, 20 minutes about enforcement, and then they would want more enforcement. But we don't have to become a gotcha city. There's some things we can do that makes this work. Deputy mayors, too many and costly. I tell you another thing, somebody's got to start fighting with the Board of Education. I know Elaine Little went at them, and then they went right back at the city. Here's the problem with Jersey City and Mayor Solomon. We have no effing sway or say with the Board of Education. Here's a $1 billion plus budget, and they're basically giving the city the finger. And they went beyond the finger. They were actually throwing some heavy-duty accusations at the city there at the last Board of Education meeting. For that matter, Mayor Solomon, who in the old days, if a Mayor Fulop or a Mayor Cunningham or Mayor Healy had a problem with somebody possibly getting a contract, it wouldn't have happened. Whether it be any one of the city agencies or departments, that wouldn't have happened. They basically told Solomon, F you, buddy, she's getting a 5-year contract as the superintendent of Jersey City School. Yeah, if Solomon isn't sitting there saying, yeah, we're going to an appointed board now. And he made a comment about this 2 months ago. I believe in the election process and all. This is not to do with elections here. This organization is dysfunctional, the Jersey City Board of Education. They lock up parents. They fight amongst themselves. You know, it's almost like those like the old Japanese government where they would start throwing shoes at each other. As far as they're throwing shoes at each other. And now they just put the finger in Solomon's face, and they gave a 5-year contract. There should be more outcry. Now, the thing with the county, you know, that happened a lot with the schools. The county Craig Guy's going to try to figure this out. So hopefully next year, that county person, the taxes will be far less. He got caught a little cold there with the schools. But, you know, by the way, Kearney, New Jersey got a 14% tax increase on a $99 million budget. What the hell happened at Kearney that they had a 14% tax increase? What needs to be done here in Jersey City, again, is cut the budget right off the bat, 10%. Zupa, Ridley, Epros, Brooks, Gilmore, Griffith, my buddy Rolando Rivera, him and Solomon went at it pretty hard too. Right off the bat, cut it 10%. We'll be able to deal with it. Maybe some of these things we don't necessarily need to bring back right now, especially with public safety. Do I need to bring back the motorcycle gang police? Maybe I don't need to do it right now. There's a lot of things we don't need to do. It sounded good when we were doing it. Hey, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And we don't have the money button. Some of these things we could put on the back burner for right now. Right off the bat, cut it. Look at programs. I said this before. Whatever we did on the Glenn Cunningham, fine. Every program going forward after Glenn Cunningham, we should look at and say, do we need this? Because we keep throwing more money at things. And maybe we don't need all these programs. For that matter, before I get into this, right, let's break for commercial. Let me swallow some coffee down here to soothe my voice. You're listening to the City Show here live. I'm Pat O'Melia. I'll be right back. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com. Hi, I'm Pat O'Melia with the Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You may have heard me talk about teaching high school juniors and seniors studio and radio production. The hope is when these kids graduate and wish to continue their education, they may receive college scholarships. Or, if not, they will have the experience from our program to get employment at the major motion movie studios here in New Jersey and New York. I started the GoFundMe, where you can make a donation completely tax deductible to help these kids and the studio program. Please go to GoFundMe and type in Hudson County High School Sports and Entertainment Network. I thank you now for your generosity. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue, right at the intersection of Clifton Avenue and Route 37 at Toms River. Your local source for all your firearm, ammo needs, and accessories. Plus, gunsmithing, repair, and cleaning on site. And coming soon, firearm training and classes. Toms River Armory, 732-569-3730. On the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Toms River Armory, 602 Clifton Avenue at the intersection of Route 37 and Clifton Avenue in Toms River. Visit on the net at tomsriverarmory.com. Your basement or attic packed? You no longer have a garage? Extra Space Storage has space. Self-storage units starting at 4 foot by 4 foot and up for the storage of furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing, business inventory, sporting equipment. Some Extra Space locations even have vehicle storage. Extra Space Storage from North Bergen to Toms River and everywhere in between and beyond. Visit on the net for your nearest Extra Space Storage location, extraspace.com.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the City Show here. One of the things we're working on as I've been laid up is new commercials. I'll be rolling out a few new ones there. But let's get back to what we're doing. Remember, we're live here on Live 365 on GGR Network. Yeah, GGR. Don't forget, you see on the Twitter there, you can download it. So what do we need to do to get control of the budget? First off, we got to shake out some deputy mayors. May look at some directors. I might have heard too. The 10% across the board. As soon as these guys come in at the next council meeting, it's 10%. And that comes out to $88 million right there. And that really adjusts to 15.5. We need to increase revenue. But again, we don't need to become a gotcha city. We just need to do what we've done all along. The Jersey City parking enforcement, that was an ATM machine for the city. You know, under Mary Spinello and Carmine Venezia, that made money. Not making money now. We're actually probably losing money there. You can get another $7 to $10 million a year out of enforcement, just giving out legitimate tickets. And nobody pays more in tickets than I do because I'm an idiot. I'll park illegal, especially like on Central Avenue. I'll park in the wrong spot so I can run into the post office. But I'm thinking somebody may want to park here to go shopping or go up to the senior building, and I'll get a ticket. But just doing our job, nothing more than what our job is, you can make $7 to $10 million more a year. And what happened here, and this is full of fault here, nobody wanted to hear the complaint. Like I said, when I was with the Parking Authority back in like 2001, 2002, I was attacked. I represented the evil empire for 15, 20 minutes. But after that, they wanted more enforcement. They didn't want it themselves. They wanted it elsewhere. But the Parking Authority made money. We're not doing that now. That has to change. In-house trash collection. Paying about $15 million a year in collections, and we're also paying another $15 in tipping fees. That means dumping it. That we can do it ourselves for less than we're paying, and have equipment and property and a building that the citizens can come on down and touch. Put their hands on the garbage trucks, on the building. See employees that you got something to show for it. The $15 million, and I don't mean the friggin' garbage in the street. It's amazing how they miss the back of the friggin' garbage truck with the garbage. We need a better setup. And we can do it ourselves. North Bergen does it themselves. Union City does it themselves. We can do it ourselves. You just need to have the actual man. I've run the numbers. People forget before I got into radio, television, and politics, I used to manage shops. Yes, I know what it takes to put a shop together. I know what the manpower is. I know we need hydraulic mechanics. We need welders. We need guys that can wash the equipment. We need all that. I know we got to handle the dumpsters on location. We got to take care of our garbage trucks. I would actually take care of the fire trucks also. We need hydraulic mechanics. There's all these guys we need. And every time I bring this up, people are like, what the hell do you know about this? Yeah, I used to do this, but everybody knows me from just TV and radio. We need to get in-house with that. I know we just did another year with our present carrier. If we're smart, this is the last year. And there is space that we can do this. I just need a few more questions. Then I can actually give the numbers to Solomon. What equipment do we have in Jersey City? How many garbage trucks? Do we got wash racks? Mobile service units, other questions like that. And then I can put the final numbers. The only thing I really did money-wise on the breakdown, I got all the employees, directors, supervisors. I don't know what the workers' comp rate is for the city and how the payroll taxes work with the city. But right now, we could probably, with assets and showing assets, save about $4 million a year. Selling off assets, that's one of the things everybody's saying, well, let's sell off some properties. What the city needs the property for? City shouldn't be devoid of assets. In the last council meeting, if you watch it, they're renewing leases on community gardens on Ogden Avenue and all across the city where the community, they plant. If we start selling assets and property, there go your community gardens. We don't want to, they have the cupboard bare for the city of Jersey City. One of the things they're complaining about with Fulop, he sold 1,000 pieces of property over 12 years. That's a hell of a real estate company he ran. We don't want to do that again. You want to have property. That's assets. We may want to mortgage it. We may want to sell it for something, not just to plug a budget hole. When you use the properties like that to plug a budget hole, that's bye-bye money. Bye-bye money. You're not going to see that again. It went into the great beyond, the abyss that is the city budget. If we're doing something with property that the city owns, we need to show a result to it, not going into the abyss. One of the things like the Pompidou site, the new site, the 100,000 square foot, we effed that up. And that's one of the things I spoke to Solomon about. Let's lease the spot. 100,000 square foot, get $70 a year per square foot. That's real money. We wouldn't have had to sell the Pat side building, which we sold to the Kushners. We could have bought 54 Journal Square and combined that with the Lowe's Theater. We could have put senior centers. We don't have any senior centers up on the square. We could have done a lot of things with 54 Journal Square. But no, we're going to put some affordable units, apartments there. Do we need affordable? Yes. Do we need it there? No. And the other thing with affordable, and going back to the old ways, we did that, and I said this before, that was something with the feds, the state, the county, and the municipalities. We would build affordable housing. And not making devil deals with the various developers. It's like the project, the 30-year abatement. The other thing with the abatements, and you get addicted to it with the cities. You get the first and last year up front of property taxes. There's a bunch of fees with the applications. That's like found money. But eventually, you're losing money on the abatements. Jersey City, it's location, location, location now. We don't have to bribe anybody to build in Jersey City. And again, I mentioned the Fraction. See, the Fraction building constantly. See them looking for abatements. Not all of them need abatements. So I'd be very careful if you want an abatement. Yep. I'd be very, very careful. I'm starting to, the boys are starting to go, the coughing's going to start pretty soon. Driveway fees. I don't want to be a gotcha city where red light cameras and speed cameras and parking cameras. Probably a little robots walking down the sidewalks now, checking meters. Gotcha. But one of the things I think we can get is a driveway fee. I pay the city about $2,400 a year, $2,600 a year to park. I would love to have a driveway. I'd probably put a driveway in if I take that fuel tank out. But I said it before, if I would take that fuel tank out, there's a driveway coming. We could get $600 a year for a driveway permit. On my block alone, I think that was like $10,000 a year. There's a lot of blocks in Jersey City, and it's just a service fee. You're getting a spot reserved for you on the street. You got the driveway. It's your house. You knocked down a house and you built this, or you bought the house near the driveway. But there's that section in the street that is now reserved for you. You can have your driveway, but we don't necessarily have to guarantee you the spot on the street. And when you build the driveway, you take out that spot out of the lottery as you're riding around at night trying to find a parking spot. That we can get $600 a year from. And that's not a lot, buddy. Yeah, it's not a lot of money a month when you look at it that way. Yeah, it's like $50. And you got a reserved parking spot. You're paying a month far less than I am. So on my block, I think it was like 10 grand. There's a lot of blocks in Jersey City. We could balance some budget there. Here it comes, the coughing. We could do some balanced budgeting and not have everybody across the friggin' city sharing the expense with the huge taxes. These are the things that, and somewhere along the line, we got to get in the Board of Education. That's insane that they could just give the city the finger like that now. Let's get I want to jump into something. Yeah, I want to talk about something besides that. I'm sure I got all my points here. Hopefully, our council people are going to, we got to get more revenue. We got to cut expenses. I think the 10% across the board. I think going in-house with trash. I think the driveway fee. I think all that works. And again, you just want to jack everybody up because a lot of people can't afford this. Like I said, you got seniors who've owned that house for the last 30, 40 years. You got that young couple that, broke their ass for 2-3 years to come up with a down payment for that, 4-family house or whatever. And we're going to start hurting them. And I know there's always talk about reducing it. Well, we should reduce the rent control down to 1 unit, instead of 4 and down. Again, we don't want to be a gotcha city. We want to be fair with everybody. Somebody's got to look at these numbers and say, just jacking 15.5% on top of the other taxes isn't the answer. So somewhere along the line, we got to look at deputy mayors generating revenue fairly, not on everybody's back. And like I said, you got the, you don't want to chase people out of the city. You got guys and his woman, husband and wife that are in their 70s, and it's going to get to the point they can't afford their home anymore. You got people, with this 15.5%, that's going to go to the rents. So forget about the word affordability. That's going to go right to the rent. Those increases. That's the crux of the problem here. We got to figure another way of avoiding that. And that's one of them. Let's get to a different topic here. HRH. Christ Hospital. Remember that? That was a big issue. That's supposed to be kicking around in the courts right now. That's something, for some reason, this seems to be forgotten here. I don't know if that hospital is ever going to open again. But right now, I just went through all this medical stuff in the last, since June 11th. The Jersey City Medical Center is really hopping. Kudos to the whole group at the Jersey City Medical Center for providing top quality medical treatment when they're the only freaking hospital in Jersey City right now. Yeah, it's amazing what they're accomplishing down there on Grove and Grand Avenue there and Montgomery Street. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Got Joe Anton and his crew doing a hell of a job there. We've got to do a little more. Somewhere along the line, we got to get Christ Hospital opened up. And it's been to the point, I don't know, it's been so long, can we get it opened up? But it seems to fall on the back burner. Somewhere along the line, the city's got to have to sit down with them and figure out how we get this open. You're going to have to deal with the devils, with the owners of the hospital. That's the fastest way to get it done. We're going to have to figure out some way of getting some revenue in there where we can mandate some revenue. So that's got to be done. But we just can't keep going longer. Again, the Jersey City Medical Center is accomplishing the unbelievable by handling all the needs of Jersey City. Hell of a job by Joe Anton and his whole crew down there. That has to change. Trump RX. You ever hear this thing? They have a lot of prescriptions there. You just got to bring it up to the pharmacy. You could get like 90% off on these prescriptions. I got a ton of these prescriptions right now. Oh, man, I'm taking pills left and right. And I found out about the Trump RX. You print out this, like a coupon, and you bring it to the pharmacy. And you get like 80-90% off. I don't know what we're not talking about. Maybe it's everybody hates Trump. I don't care if you hate Trump. If you could save some money that way, you want to save some money. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's save a few bucks there, right? I don't care. So if you're at your computer, as soon as you can, go to Trump RX and see the prescriptions are there. See if it's somebody. There's like 100 of them. For that, yeah, there's blood pressure. There's insulin. There's Wegovy. You got all these various. I know. Yeah, Eliquis is on there. Yeah, I'm checking that right now. I got to get the hell off those blood thinners. But we've got to push that more. What else? We got some things besides the taxes. Commissioners, Hudson County Commissioners, they're thinking about changing the start times for the commissioner meetings at the Hudson County Board of County Commissioners. Right now they start at 4:30. They're talking about 6 to 7. Let me explain why 4:30 works. Every other meeting in Hudson County, whether it's council, whether it's zoning, whether it's the cannabis, whether building and construction, whatever meeting it is, it starts at 6. The idea of the commissioners in Hudson County, you could literally go to a commissioner meeting and go to another meeting that night because you're starting at 4:30. And then the summer they do one a month in July and August at 1 o'clock. It's kind of like the summer schedule. It's usually a light agenda. Unlike the city right now, we had 100 speakers. Usually a light agenda. We do a lot of recognizing people, that sort of thing in the summer months. It is ideal that it's at 4:30. And many of the commissioners themselves go to these other meetings. So every meeting in the county, in all 12 municipalities, can't all start at the same time at 6 o'clock. So it's ideal at 1, and this is county commissioners start at 4:30. I don't know why there's a big call to move it. I keep saying this. It's ideal that we could sit there and have this meeting at 4:30, and at the end, and if it's a quick one, I could get to another meeting if I need to. Or even if I just arrive there a little late, I don't make it at 6 o'clock, I'm there at 6:30. And be honest with you, one municipal meeting starts at 6. Now, think about it. None of them start at 6 o'clock like they're supposed to. They start about 6:30. So, yeah, you can go from a Hudson County Commissioner meeting to a municipal meeting or a zoning board or a cannabis or whatever meeting you want to attend and make a historic preservation meeting, whatever it was. They all start at 6 o'clock. So I'm pushing that. It stays there. Yeah, here the coughing's going to start. What do we got? That much more time. We got 3 minutes left in the show. Yeah, 3 minutes. That's good. We did the World Cup. And I thought the transportation was working well. I'm not a soccer guy. We didn't play it when I was a kid. I don't play hockey. I'm not a hockey guy either because we didn't play it when we were kids. We played basketball. We could put a hoop up on a telephone pole. Baseball, of course. Football, we played. Do we need a full field? No, the street was fine. Yeah, nothing like getting tackled on West Side Avenue. But those are the sports we played. I was amazed at how many people came to the games. And if you remember, when we were back in the 70s, we had the Cosmos. For a while there with Pele and all, they would pack Giant Stadium. Then one day it was like somebody turned the faucet off, and that was it. There's no more soccer. It was amazing, and I watched most of the final. Again, not a soccer guy. You need more scoring. Final score was 1-0. It was like 90 minutes going back and forth. Not for me, but again, like I told my wife, I don't understand the game because we didn't play it. Again, we played baseball, basketball, stickball, football, that sort of thing. But it's amazing on how popular it is. I don't know if it's Super Bowl popular, but it certainly it was popular here for the games in New Jersey. Now, the halftime show, which they don't usually have a halftime show, I'm not sure what the hell that was, but they had bad audio in the beginning. Madonna's, who I think pre-recorded that, and she still had bad audio. That's the problem with doing live shows. No matter how much you friggin' test, you watch SNL, they go live. They'll have their problems also. No matter how much you test and what equipment you have, there's going to be a problem when you're going live. You go live, you're always asking for it. That's why, and the worst thing you do is go live out of your studio. But now you're out in the elements there, and anything possible will go wrong, especially when we all depend on Wi-Fi and the internet now. When you're in the studio, you're in control of so much more. When you leave the studio, that's when things go bad. What Madonna was doing, I'm not 100% sure. By the time the BTS guys got on the field, they corrected the audio. Maybe BTS had their own people there Shakira, the audio was good. Maybe with Madonna, maybe that was because she didn't step on the field. She was like inside the bowels of the stadium there. So I think she was pre-recorded, and somebody screwed up the audio there. But I was amazed on how popular the soccer was. And like I said, I go back to the days with Pele and the Cosmos. But we are at a show. You be good. You be safe. Again, I'll talk to you next Monday. It's my coughing subsided enough that I could do the show. You be safe. You be good. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.
Say you don't know me, I recognize